Welcome to Trading Lounge and the SP 500, and we are looking at this little area through here. I want to point out that we are dealing with 3,100, so the 100 is is a minor level as 100, then we get 200 and 300, and that 1, 2 and 3 make up minor group 1. And then the next degree smaller is subgroup. So with subgroup we've got 1, 2 and 3 again here, as well as 10, 20 and 30. So that makes up group 1. And then below that we have group 2, the 65, 72 and the 80. And as I've mentioned before, that this particular group from here to here is the space that I allow the market to vibrate in a correctional fashion. But if the 30 here becomes the tested support, then I know that the market is leaving this number and going higher. And also to the downside as well, once group 2 here becomes the resistance, then I know that the market's leaving this number and heading down to that. Now, in the meantime, while all this is going on, this vibration is going on here, we try to work out the Elliott wave count. Now, we've had a little bit of difficulty with this, and that continues. So we were looking last time at this last little 5 waves as the high here, and that may be the case as such, and we can look at this as 5 waves down. So it's possible for us to look at this as wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and if that's the case, then we can short under these levels here, under the 3080 as a retested resistance here, or we could even get in a little bit earlier and put a thinner line in here. So I'll just leave that here, and I'll copy that and I'll put that there, because this will be part of our strategy here. I'm just going to put that into a thin line here, so we've just got half position in that side there. Now, the other point here too, in terms of guessing the Elliott wave count, is that we could actually move this over here and move this over here and move this here, and just move that out the way there, and also move that here. So what we've got here now is an A wave to here, an A and a B and a C wave here for the B wave, and 5 waves down for the C wave here. And then we can have here, if I copy that here, we can have this as wave 1 up here, and this as wave 2 coming down to this point here. So that would make 5 waves going up here, 50-60% retracement level to here, and then we'll see the market move higher into wave 3, 4 and 5, coming up into this space here, and then coming back to check this, because in this is the main level here. So we know that using the classic trading levels pattern, which is the arrival, the reaction in a corrective wave, and then the first high above the level in 5 waves, and then an A and a B and a C wave here, and then going up here, and then this becomes our trigger over this side. So normally when we trade to here and get out, which would be to here, and then we wait for the correction, we wait for the first high above the level, you can play around in that, and then we look for the A, the B and the C wave here. So in this case, in terms of the bigger picture here, well, I'll just come back to this in a moment, but let's just go in and investigate this a little bit further here. So just on the tick chart here, I was looking, well, first of all, this little move up through here, looking at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for 1 here and 2 here, doesn't really give me a nice 5 wave structure here. It's more like 3 waves in here, but I'll run with it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third and the fourth, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave 1, pulling back to this space here. However, if this top is taken out here, then if this is taken out here, then you know that we're going higher at that point. We're going into wave 3 at that point. But in that case too, we'd also be looking for 5 waves up here as such as well. I need to go to the 20 tick chart to confirm that, but we could look at wave 1 back for wave 2 here. So we can look at this in this regard here. So we could look at the market, well, it's got it upside down, but we can look at the 50 to 38 here, the reverse of that. So 30.92. So when we look at 30.92, we could look at that, but we're probably, I mean, the strongest number here is 5. So between 90, just while we're here, because we talked about sub-levels before, so then we can move down into micro levels. So from the 90 here, we can look at group 1, which is 1, 2, and 3. So I would normally find if the market's coming down here, then 2 and 3 are really going to be the support at that point there. And then of course we've got 1, 2, 3, 5, and the other Fibonacci number is 8 here. We could also get in a little group 2 here as well. But that helps create a little bit of a matrix for all of this and makes us, breaks the problem down and works and creates solutions for this. So yeah, so this is looking like the count here with wave C of B here and wave C of 4 here with 1 and 2 here, and going up higher from this point. So going up higher here, what does that mean? So coming back to the 1 hour chart here, this is where it also can get, I mean, I like to keep an open book, you know, I'm just gathering evidence. So there's a case here for wave 3 here, and coming back for wave 4 here, and that would give us the classic trading levels pattern of the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level in 5 waves, and then the ABC pattern here, and then going higher from that point here into that space. So that's one way to look at it. There's another way to look at this here with as a top for wave 1 here. I've got a few counts here, and they're all sort of valid, and I think it's good to share them. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, you can poo-hoo a lot of them, and that's okay, but let's just go through some of them. So let me just check. So this is one count. This is one count here. That's also valid as well, with 1 and 2 here, and 3 to here, and 4 to here, and then 5 waves up here. But this 5 waves here will be wherever that top is here. So if we do make a new top, well, then that will be here as such, if we get 5 waves up here. But if that's not the case, then wave 5 needs to go onto this little high here, whatever the case is here, because this is still wave 3 here, and then this would be the A, the B, and the C for wave 4, and then into this space. So it's just shifting everything across to that if we make a new high here. Otherwise it stays here. I think one of the other things here when I look at this here, this count here, is one thing, there's a few things we can see about it, is that you know, this leg here is the length that it is, this one's a little bit more, and then this one's more as well. So what we're actually seeing here in this is we in terms of Elliott anyway, we're looking at an expanding range in the impulse wave each time. But of course there's different ways to count this as well, so we'll take a look at that. So this is the count that I kind of like in a way, because the reason I like this particular count for is because it allows the third wave to be a third wave here rather than an extension in the 5th wave. So it's looking at the bottom here of wave 2 here, well, wave 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 here, and wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th here for the 3rd, and A and a B and a C for the 4th, and up for the 5th here. So that works quite well as well, you know. What's the next one we've got? What's on the 4-hour chart here? Yeah, okay, this is slightly different again here, where we have wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 for 1 and 2 here, and then 5 waves up here for wave 3 of 5 of 3, and wave 4, but wave 4 would also be, it could also be like this here, but if we make that new high, then we need to bring wave 4 over here and consider this all of wave 4 here, and then up for wave 5 here, so it leaves us in the same in the same situation there. So yeah, look, they're the count, but in most cases they're all going to give us the same thing. So coming back to the hourly chart here for a moment. Okay, so we know we can short under these lows here. Okay, so half a position here and then a position here. We can also, if you want to trade to the long side, that's cool too. So we'll just copy that, and then a breach of that high here would confirm that we are going higher. So you could trade long at that point, but you also need to understand too that you're retesting these old highs here. So there's going to be, it's going to be a little bit of if it moves up higher here, then as soon as you get in, it's going to drop back a little bit here, and then it's going to fluff around here for a while because of the number and so on, and then push up from that point. So you'll need to be patient with a wider stop at that particular point as well. Or you can do that, and then you can also look to add on top there and get a little classic trading levels pattern on top of the 3-1 there. It's also going to be a bit tricky too, that it's going to find a lot of resistance at 1 and 2 and 3 here for sure. So the 2 here and the 3 here become your target. So you take 50% at least from the 20 here, and then the rest up into this space here. The 3 always gives a larger correction at that point, and also 2 would also, if the market was, and I got it wrong, would also look for a classic trading levels pattern up here, which would be the rival, the reaction. Sometimes that can spike down to 1.5 here, but most of the time it sits on 2, then pushes up, and then comes back and does the same thing as well. Can push down to 1.5, but normally sits on 2, and then we look for it to sit on here. If it's, and these are our triggers up here, so if it sits up here, then we go long from that point, because that would be tested support. It's migrated from being resistance to support, and that's how you get your timing right at that point. But otherwise you'll just trade to that number. Yep, so that's it. So yeah, this is kind of it. Just remembering that copy this here, that can be wave 5 here, this can be wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and then moving down. So it's a bit of a game of tactics and taking the next logical step within all of this. Yeah, so I don't think I've got any more to add to that. Certainly can yak on for hours, but I think that does it in a nutshell. Alrighty, cheers.